How did you get the gig to music direct the Bad Bunny Super Bowl halftime show?
Out of nowhere, December something, I get a call from Harriet. Hey, are you around?
December you got the call?
Oh, man, you don't even know.
What?
January 4th, rehearsals start, and we have no music.
A month before the show.
Bunny had never had a music director before. And I don't know if he's had somebody that he can literally have a creative thought and that person makes it into reality. He's always done everything. He's such a creative genius, man. That dude has a vision for everything. Between him and I, voice messages, sending me ideas. When I sent it back, Benito was like, Bayo.
You get a call, you get a text like, hey, Lady Gaga's going to sing with us.
I was like, okay, a song in 6/8, but we got to make it groove in salsa in 4/4 with a clave. How do we do that? Everything was very, very centered and focused on the culture of Puerto Rico and what it means to him and his vision of it. So we were all building towards that. And he was like, I just want to tell you guys, I work really hard, but I'm not a rehearsal type of guy. So I'm probably going to give you maybe 5 times.
With all that camera blocking.
All the stuff that he had to do, man. And there's a huge production behind all of this. So much could go wrong, but it means a lot to him. Director, lights, pyro. There's the people who push, and then the captain is telling them, to the right, to the left, go. Everybody needs a starting point to go into something. So it's like the world against me.
You also have all the grass people.
The grass people were there too. 400 of them. No matter how hard we try to be the best of what we do, we all are going to give it our 100%. It was a special feeling in the air. It was a special moment in history. It was a special thing that I don't even think he asked for. It was just happening, and he just so happened to be the face of it. So when the thing went, it was just an explosion beyond everybody's belief.
Go! Let's go.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Go with Elmo. We have a very special guest for you today for episode 100. And speaking of 100, thank you so much for tuning in and joining us on this journey. I'm really proud of us and the whole team and everyone to get to 100 episodes. And we just thank you for the love and the support. We read all of the comments, and you mean a lot to us. So we're so glad that you're loving it and we're loving you. And if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe wherever you're listening to us, and leave a review and do whatever else you want, because we're going to keep this show going. So today we have an incredible guest for you. This guy is one of the biggest musical directors on the planet. And he's very much so a behind the scenes guy. He doesn't do a lot of interviews. So I'm really grateful that when I hit him up to do this, he said yes. You likely have heard of him very recently because he musical directed the Super Bowl halftime show with Bad Bunny. Personally, one of my favorite halftime shows ever. So we're going to go way deep on the Super Bowl halftime show, how it comes together, how you get the gig, how you execute this, building the set list, building the songs, building the vibe, working with Benito, working with creative director, working with camera blocking, everything that goes into that crazy, incredible show that we all just watched. Miguel has had an incredible career that got him here, so we're going to also go into that. He's worked with some of the biggest artists on the planet. He's musical directed some of the biggest TV shows on the planet, and he is an amazing human. I want to give a big shout out to our friends at MIGUE'S. If you're a musician, a musical director, a student, or anyone who needs stems fast, MIGUE'S is the most useful tool out there. I use MIGUE'S a lot, especially as my work as a musical director. For whenever I need stems and I can't get them from one of the artists that I'm working with, I just grab their songs, put it into MIGUE'S, and I immediately have the stems that I need so I can build the show. MIGUE'S is also a great tool if you just want to jam along. You just want to play along to your favorite songs. Maybe you want to take out the drums, take out the bass, take out the guitar, move it around, reproduce it, whatever it is. MIGUE'S is a really fun tool with that. MIGUE'S is built for all styles of music makers, whether you're a professional or you're a student, and the team at MIGUE'S are all musicians. They're really great people. I love their product, and I love them as humans. So whether you're learning a set, building arrangements, or just want to dig deeper on a track, MIGUE'S makes it easy. You can check them out at MIGUE'S.ai. Thank you so much for supporting our show. Without further ado, here is my interview with Miga. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the show, episode 100. And we can't do episode 100 without celebrating a huge moment, possibly one of the biggest musical moments of the year. Our guest today is the musical director of this year's Super Bowl halftime show with Bad Bunny. He's had an amazing career to get him up to today. So please make a ton of noise for Miguel Gandelman. Yes. What's up, bro? Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man.
How you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
I feel like you're doing pretty good right now. You just like living in the clouds?
Man, it's beautiful outside and my kids are healthy, everything is good. Music is good. Life is good.
Well, congrats on the huge recent achievement.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so Miga, by the way.
Yes, sir.
So if you know him, you call him Miga, all right? You see him in the street, Miga! Or you see him at center staging. You've had an incredible career. So you're from Brazil. You come from a very musical family.
Mm-hmm.
Your dad, Leo, has had an amazing career. Your grandma plays.
Mm-hmm.
It's a musical family. It's
Yeah.
all through you.
Yeah.
Move to the U.S.,
Mm-hmm.
go to Berklee,
Yes, sir.
eventually land in L.A.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna do the proper story, but I want to start with this huge moment that we're in right now, and then we're gonna go back to the deepness. But just so you guys know, besides just doing the Super Bowl halftime show, right? On top of all that, Miga's worked with everyone from Christina Aguilera, Stevie Wonder, Usher, Shakira, Lady Gaga, Janet Jackson, Beyoncé, Rihanna, Babyface, John Mayer, Aretha Franklin, of course, the Tonight Show band, which I can't wait to talk about.
Yes, sir.
Jonas Brothers, a bunch others. So this guy has had an amazing journey to get him to this moment. And here we are today.
Here we are. Yeah.
So, man, how did you get the gig to music direct the Bad Bunny Super Bowl halftime show?
You know what's funny, man? It was a brother of mine, Johnny Natural. He got called through some other people, and he couldn't make the dates. And he suggested my name. There was a couple of other names in the pot, and the creative director so happened to be a friend of my wife,
Harriet?
Harriet.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's friends with my wife. She was at my baby's baby shower, a long
That's
time
awesome.
ago. Never connected the dots. She was just a friend of my wife. That's kind of how I saw the whole thing. I want to say maybe a year ago, they got together. They're having the girls, went out to eat or something. And my wife was like, man, I'm really happy, Harriet, with everything that you're doing. And I'm really proud of everything that Miguel's doing. Maybe I should connect you guys. Put us on a text. Never really went anywhere.
Yeah.
And then I got called to do Becky G, and she was the creative director of Becky G. Did a gig, boom, boom, boom. It actually didn't go through, but we went through the process of the gig and creating the whole thing, and it got canceled last minute. So then I guess when my name got in the pot, she recognized then Miga, I think, right? And then she talked to Charm, who was the choreographer, and Charm is another friend.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, Miga, of course, Miga. So out of nowhere, December something, I get a call from Harriet. Hey, are you around? And that was it.
Okay, so Natural said to Harriet, we should use Miga. That's kind of where it started.
That was his thing.
Yeah.
He said, we're brothers.
Yeah.
That's literally my brother,
Yeah.
and he just said, I can't do it, but if I can't do it, I think this is the guy who would be, I don't know what his words were, but this is the guy who I would
choose.
recommend,
Yeah.
And then I know that there were some other names in the pot as well, and then, I don't really ask them, hey, why did you choose me over them? I just got a call, and it was through Harriet. I had just done the Becky G thing. I know she's friends with my wife. It's funny because she had done a few gigs with Bunny before. And when it was announced that Bunny was going to be the guy, my wife actually texted her and said, girl, you're going to be and she hadn't been called for the gig yet. So when she got the gig, she hit my wife back up and said, you made it happen. It was your energy. So it was that kind of stuff. It was kind of like inside the house, through my brother, through a friend of Tiana, my wife, through Charm, who's another friend. The music industry, that's what it is, right? It's the people in the community and the people that you're part of and the community that you're part of.
That's everything.
So that's everything. And that's what it was.
Okay, wait. You just said something that just shocked me. December, you got the call?
Oh, man, you don't even know.
What?
You don't even know.
And the Super Bowl's first week of February? Or
January 4th, rehearsals start at Shrine, and we have no music.
Here's the thing about the music industry. It's known to be last minute.
Yeah.
So that doesn't shock me because it's all last minute, but I guess the magnitude of this gig and it's still being as last minute as stereotypically the music industry is.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Okay, so December, you get a call from Harriet that says,
She's like, there's this sketch that we don't know where it came from, of songs. Can you just make it sound good? Can you do something? Can you help us? Like, we need to get this going. Come to find out, Bunny had never had a music director before.
right,
Right.
he's the
And
guy.
he's the guy. He
Yeah.
does everything. He's always done everything. He's such a creative genius, man. That dude has a vision for everything, for the creative, for the music, for shoes, as anything. Like, he's got a vision, and there was this sketch in front of us, and we didn't know what that sketch was. It was still a 2-track. I'm asking for stems. Stems are nowhere to be found, and I'm using production skills that I know and things. I started building on that, and talking to Harriet the whole time and going back and forth. We should kind of do it like this. Let's do it like that. I don't like this song. What if we cut this? We don't know, because we have to talk to him, but he's on a world tour and he's the biggest artist in the planet right now. Can you get in touch with him? No.
No feedback from the artist.
Absolutely zero feedback. Impossible to talk to him and all of that stuff. So we kind of prepped and had a little something. I built off of that sketch that we had. Using literally just a 2-track.
Yeah.
And just different techniques that we know as a producer and how to expand it, make it sound good. Adding on top and all of that. So I want to say it was right before Christmas. She said they're flying me out to Mexico because he's doing 3-4 shows in Mexico, and I'm going to present the visual side of it to him, and I would love to have this little sketch that we've been talking about to show him. So she calls me the next day.
Can I stop you for a second?
Yeah, of course.
Is this sketch like a 15-minute?
No, I think it was less by then. I think it might have been only 9 minutes or
So it's like a
something.
9-minute idea that someone did.
That
You don't even know what it is.
we don't even know what it is.
Okay.
So we're building on top of that, but
Yeah.
creative decisions with a guy who's so involved in the music. How are you good? Because I was like, man, we need to immediately cut this song. We need to make this song longer. Do we have the freedom? And she was like, let's do it and present it to him.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. So we had our idea, put the whole thing together, boom, boom, boom. And she goes to Mexico to show him more of the visual side, but she had a full presentation with music and everything. So she calls me the next day and she was like, it went great. He loves the visual, but it's interesting because he said, I didn't know you guys were working on music already. I haven't been included. Now I want to play. So then once he got involved, now we have an idea. Now we kind of know what it's going to be. Him and Tiny, his producer, kind of had ideas of, order of songs very much based on suggestions that we had given, So they put another sketch together and sent it over to me. And it was cool because, Tiny is a guy, he's the king.
Mhm.
I respect that dude.
Yeah.
That dude is the king. Reggaeton wouldn't be reggaeton if it wasn't for him, and I could tell that he was listening back to things that I had done to that random sketch that got in my hands. And he was trying to recreate that with his own sounds and things. So to me, it was like, man, we're moving the right direction.
Yeah.
So then from that moment on, production was able to find stems, and then it became 100%. Let's go, Miga, do your thing, and make it as big as you can. We already knew that the first part was going to be reggaeton, then it was going to go into salsa, and then it was going to go into the folkloric folk stuff.
Yes.
That was set up, and how are we going to do that? So we have to do the pre-records. We have to get the band to record. I want his band to record. It has to be his people. He's in the middle of a world tour, so how are we going to do that? Well, can we find a studio in Chile where you guys are? If your production is calling, boom, 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 they fly me out like on a Monday. They're like, can you go to Chile on a Tuesday? Sure, let's go to Chile. We go to Chile, spend 2 days out there, almost 24 hours in the studio every day recording, all of the plenas, the panderos are different than the Brazilian panderos. Brazilian panderos have the cymbals, right?
Mhm.
The Puerto Rican one doesn't. And it's just that, skin sound. And it's very folkloric and important of them. And he's been using a lot of that on his latest album,
Yeah.
right? So recording all of them, recording the band, recording all the salsa stuff, all the new arrangements, how it was going to happen. Boom, did all of that. I think we did like 5 songs out there.
Is that your first time meeting Bad Bunny?
First time meeting everybody.
Everybody.
The band,
In person.
the manager, the road manager, everybody's the first time like, yo, what's up, guys? Miga, let's get this done.
Yeah.
And it was great, man. They all of them such sweet people, such incredible warm people, super excited. The band specifically, they're such young guys, man, who just came out of Puerto Rico, and all of a sudden they are the biggest thing. So it was so much love and so much warmth. And we recorded those 5 songs, and we still didn't know Gaga was going to be part of the project. So come back home, okay, Gaga's going to be part of the project, and we're going to cut this one. So out of the 5, now we only have 3. Okay, now we have to record again. again. We have to record the Gaga arrangement and we have to blah, blah, blah. So, okay, where can I catch you guys next? Colombia. So go to Colombia.
Go home first.
Go home first.
Yeah.
Come home for like a week. And then same thing again, Monday. Hey, what you doing Tuesday? We need you in Colombia. Okay, fly to Colombia. See the guys again. Yeah, what's up, y'all? Good to see
Now
you.
you're homies.
Boom, boom, boom. Exactly. And recorded some more of the songs, put the whole stuff together, and then brought it back home. While that is happening, rehearsals were kind of already happening, and rehearsals with Charm, it was kind of based off of the sketch that we had. We didn't have the pre-records yet, but at least she had something to work with. But it was like that, just fight against time. You got to get this right. You got to get it together. You got to get it together. You got to get it together.
Can I slow you down for a minute?
Of course.
Okay, so you get the first sketch. That's a mystery sketch.
Yeah.
You end up just being like, can I edit this? Can I do my thing? You do your thing.
Yeah.
That goes to Bad Bunny. Eventually, he digs it, but wants to do his own thing. But that was clearly him hearing your work and being like, okay, this is, there's something here. I dig this.
Yeah.
He makes his own thing with Tiny.
Yeah.
Gets it back to you. You guys start building.
Yeah.
You then go down to Chile.
Yeah.
And meet them and record for the first time. Okay, so now you have something actually recorded.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's all pre-recorded. Super Bowl, everyone kind of knows that already. But if you didn't, the halftime show is pre-recorded. So you got to get this in the can. So you got them on tour. You have artist and band on a giant world tour, having huge moments.
Yes.
So you have to make a lot of judgments on your own.
Yes.
Right. And just kind of be like, I'm going to do my best here and hope that you sign off. Because you said, so they're on tour still. Now you're coming home and rehearsals have started.
Yeah.
With Charm. So Charm's the choreographer, so you have dance. So rehearsal is no musicians.
No musicians.
Rehearsal is just you musically.
It was choreography.
Choreography and you on all music.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I'm not available to be there because I need to put this music together.
Right.
So as much as I can, feed out to help the situation, I'm trying to push in every possible way.
Because you're at your studio.
I am literally at the waiting to get my airplane to go back. We finished recording and I have to get back both Chile and Colombia. I am at the lounge just going, editing, making the creative decisions, the whole Rickey Martin bit. Lo que pasó Hawaii, it's nothing to do with the album. He had already said, I want it to be intimate. I don't want anything, or even what we did at the residency, because at the residency, they put a whole bunch of live percussion and things. I don't want that. I want the cuatro to be featured because that means so much to PR.
Absolutely.
And then everything, I literally did that arrangement sitting down at the lounge in Colombia, waiting, with all my hard drives, my little keyboard, and I'm playing all the keys and the strings and putting everything together just so I can have something to send it back to production. So production, because it's not only just Charm. There's a huge production behind all of this. So there's lights, pyro, director. Everybody needs a time code. Everybody needs to program to something, or at least to have a starting point to go into something. So it's like the world against me, But the thing about it is this, man. I have been doing so much TV, and TV is so crazy. So crazy. Can I have an opera by tomorrow? Like literally, literally. That it wasn't anything for me.
Right. You've been built for it.
Man, I feel like everything that came before literally built me for that moment. And I told Harriet, I was like, man, if this is like ideal situation, me and my team, we can get this done in like 3-4 days. She's like, oh my God. I was like, yes, just let me go. Let me do it. I got this. I know how to do this and put it together within time or whatever at the highest quality possible. Yeah. And that's really what it was, man. It was just working against time, trying to get his input, a lot of creative decisions coming from me, because it was just kind of like you have sticks and stones, but now you got to build a house. Yep. Right. So then the first part of the reggaeton, it was very specific. The way I approach music direction, you didn't ask, but I'll go there.
I was going to, so you might as well.
I believe that a music director is nothing more than a live producer.
Absolutely.
Right? There's producers in the studio, and like Quincy Jones produces records, we produce a live thing. But I also happen to be a programmer. That was something that since I was a kid, which we're going to go back to that. My father used to do it at home. First time I programmed in my life, I was 9 years old, doing Chariots of Fire that I called it medals.
Yes, dude. Chariots of Fire.
So that's always been a thing with me. Like, got to Berklee, I remember my friends coming over to my room in the dorm, and they're like, you have an orchestra inside of your computer? And I was like, man, I thought it was normal.
Because what year is this? And when you're in Berklee?
2000.
Yeah, so man, you're early with the tools.
It was completely different.
You were using the tools at the beginning.
It was a
these tools.
different world, man. I mean, when I started at 8 years old, it was Creator and Notator, which was before Logic. Yeah. So like, it's just been a path that was part of my life without even anything. It's just when you grow up inside a household where your dad is a music director, arranger, I literally thought that's what every musician did. I didn't think there was a separation of you only play guitar. I thought everybody did that. That was
to do everything.
That was what was normal to me.
It's your normal,
you know? I was like, cool, I want to learn this. I want to learn that, you know, started playing different instruments and producing and arranging. So all of that to say that, you know, the reggaeton part, it's all program things, but there's a lot of nerdy intellectual stuff that you do to make it sound big, to make it proper for a live event, to make it punch, to make it girthy, to make it fatter, to make it a lot more than a record actually would, right? You kind of put something on it, you know, and it's the transients, it's the extra programming that you do on top, it's the little details, it's the reverbs and delays and how to occupy sound and make that thing big, you know, so it translates and it punches through your screen. So that was the work through that. And a lot of that stuff is creative decisions that I'm making on my own based on my experience to what that is. Not a lot, 100% of that was that, you know, so much so that when I sent it back to Benito is like, bello, which is beautiful. He's like, yo, beautiful, beautiful. And then what I kind of gathered was, you know, they told me he's never had an MD before. So I'm thinking, man, I don't know if he's had somebody that he can literally have a creative thought and that person makes it into reality, you know? So then it just became a cool thing between him and I, my voice messages, you know, and he's very specific to music. I did the Gaga arrangement based on before it used to be Calladita. They used to start very down and then it went up. And so we kind of had to have that same flow of motion because Charm had already choreographed to where things were already going that way. So let's make that same flow, you know, send it back to him. He was like, the Bayo, I love it, but I don't want to end it up. Can you end it down? And he's sending me like ideas. Cool. Beautiful. When we go to Colombia, we're going to record that.
Singing arrangement.
Singing ideas. Little things, you know, and then added some strings. Man, I love those strings. That's amazing. Yeah, boom, boom, boom. So it became this back and forth of, you know, creating and sending it, you know, and him sending messages back. And that was like the musical creative side. I mean, along with that, there's also the very important thing, which are transitions and breaths.
Yes.
How do you tell a story, right?
That's in such a short amount of time, such a big story. So
it doesn't feel like you're just trying to jam everything in people's face. So it feels like you're actually listening to one piece of music, but you also need the breath because you don't want to just talk. So all of that was inside of the stuff that I sent him. And I want to say we agreed on like 98% of what was coming from, you know, of the natural of what I felt.
Yeah.
It was just a couple of things that, you know, going back to what you said, for example, everything is pre-recorded. Not the vocals were the only things that were live, right? And that's how I wanted to keep it because of the amount of things that could go wrong.
Yes.
But when we got to Lo Que Pasó Hawaii, the Ricky Martin song, has to be a live cuatro. I was like, no, man. No, the amount of RF issues that could happen.
That's a nightmare just thinking about the RF.
Man,
in a stadium,
1 billion people are there with every broadcast from all over the world. Everybody, I'm like, please, man. Oh, he was like, it's very important. It's very important. So, okay, cool.
All the in-ear signals that you're sending out to everyone.
There's so much in the air. There's so much in the air. So much could go wrong, but it means a lot to him.
Yeah,
you know. So it was like little things like
that. To Benito or to Ricky?
To Benito.
Oh, okay.
It was very important. He's very big. The whole thing, man, was very much based on him and his culture. So he said, you know, the reason for this last album, he said, I wasn't trying to be at the Super Bowl. I wasn't trying to win a Grammy. It was really him digging into his own culture, into, his grandfather's stories, things that he had seen in his people, and he just wanted to, enrich himself into that and make music off of it.
Yes.
So the culture of Puerto Rico was everything to him, specifically on this last album. So much so he took the creative directors and the stage builders, Harriet and Julio, and them to Puerto Rico a few times to show them, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is the story I want to tell because of this and stuff. So everything was very, very centered and focused on the culture of Puerto Rico and what it means to him,
Yes.
and his vision of it. So we were all very respectful and very, building towards that, if you will.
Yes. Man, this is incredible. So when you jumped in, you had that sketch, whatever, that gets thrown out.
Mhm.
Now you're just kind of building in real time.
Yeah.
Right? You and Benito and and Harriet and however you're going around with what Charm needs.
Yeah.
You're just passing things around, trying to make everyone happy, doing your best.
Yeah.
So there's no like set list, but you mentioned there was like kind of like a genre set list.
The set list was kind of already put together, right? Based on our suggestions and based on his suggestions. And the idea, the first, the bare bone idea was reggaeton to salsa to folk. Okay, cool. Now, songs inside of the reggaeton, songs inside of the salsa, songs inside of the folk, and that's kind of like how we're going to organize it. But once that first sketch that we don't know where it came from, and I built on top of that, and he liked some of that stuff. From there, it was like almost like I want to say 88% go. Like,
wow,
this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
But we're going to build off of this.
Yes.
Like I said, we didn't know Gaga was going to be part of it. So KIDZ was part of it. There was some other, but it was pretty much,
wow.
Okay,
so the Gaga part. So you didn't know Gaga was going to be a part of it.
Yeah.
You get a call, you get a text like, hey, Lady Gaga's going to sing with us.
So management said, yes, she's going to be the one. Our bongo player, he does a lot of salsa arrangements of things, and, check with him what he thinks and blah, blah, blah. So he sent me something. I was like, cool, but it needs to be more like this.
But before you even got to that, when it was like Gaga's going to sing, did someone tell you it's going to be Die With a Smile? And
they did. Management.
They're like, we want to Die With a Smile, and we want to make it salsa.
And this is it. This is the funny question. They wanted to make a salsa.
Yeah.
Yes, because it has to be part of the culture, and we're bringing her in. And it was the not clash, but the culture of the United States. This is who we are, right? It's
Absolutely.
a mix of all of that. But he's called me and he said, we're going to do Die With a Smile, but with a salsa thing. I was like, Die With a Smile. He was like, do you have any other suggestions? I was like, off the top of my head, I would just literally open up Spotify. What is her biggest song ever? And he said, Die With a Smile. I was like, no way. Off of her whole entire catalog that she's been doing for 20 years. So I had to check.
A song from a year ago.
And it was. Like, she gets 1.5 billion views on all of the stuff that she did, all of the famous ones, right? To Die With a Smile was like 3.4 billion.
Well, I think Die With a Smile was the most streamed song ever last year. Like, it broke the record for most streams
like
in a year.
Insanity. Makes sense. You get two huge names, Bruno and Gaga together. Makes sense. It's a great song. D-Mile killed it and all the team that did it. So I was like, okay, a song in 6/8, but we got to make it groove in salsa in 4/4 with a clave. How do we do that? So hey, man,
That's so good.
It was great. It was great. I gotta give it to Big J, the bongo player, who had the groove, had the motion, and everything that we did to put together the whole team. And it was all of us, making sure that I just wanted to make sure that the transition coming from Monaco, which is a very string heavy song, would have a specific transition. It was the moment of the wedding. So we had to have that thing, which strings always bring that feeling to it. KIDZ did, like I said before, sketch, we had KIDZ, the way that they had built the performance, it did have that scoop, so we had to do the scoop, and then 3, 4 and we're in it, and it was great, man. It was so much fun. It was absolutely so much fun. It was a big secret, couldn't tell anybody. The band didn't know. Obviously they kind of knew, but we couldn't talk about the issue. We're in Colombia, the owners of the studio, everybody please leave, we're going to record the specific song, then nobody can know what the song is,
right?
And what I wanted to do is make sure to also get the planeros, the guys who were playing the planes, who are background vocalist guys. That's what they do, right? They play and they sing, I wanted to make sure to record them singing the background vocals that Bruno did on the song, but with them, with their accent, with their flair to it, with their kind of, so I produced them in the studio to put the whole thing together. It was the best, man. And they were looking at each other like, one of them said, man, if my grandpa saw me doing this, he would kill me because it's completely against his thing. You know what I mean? But that mesh of culture, I think, was the biggest part of it all.
Yes.
I think it was the most special thing, talking to Gaga. She was so, Amiga, what am I going to do? I've been listening to Celia Cruz. How do I sound? And I was like, stop. The whole point is to be you.
Yeah.
That's what the United States is.
Yes.
This is what we're trying to represent. It's all of us put together, so you don't have to sound like Celia Cruz. You have to sound like Stephanie and Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
That's who you are. But she was like, but work with me. So we were clapping together. I was giving her the clave and she was clapping. And I was talking about, man, rock, for example, is down. Boom, 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 boom. Dun, dun. Even hip hop is down. But, Latin music is up. It's almost on your shoulders type of thing, So she was like, what can I do so there was a few things that we threw, and all of it was just a great combination of cultures there. That situation was really fun, to put that and represent, what this country really is, what we are.
She looked so happy performing.
She was so happy, man. She was so happy. At the end, she was very happy. In the beginning, it was very much like, what am I going to do?
Kind of stressed out.
And then I didn't have the background vocals on because everything's such a secrecy. Like, nobody can find out Lady Gaga's going to sing. So every time I was sending files, I would send files, the MP3s or whatever, I was sending without the background vocals. So when she got to first rehearsal, she was like, let me talk to Miga, boom, 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 talk to her. Hey, nice to meet you. I feel really naked. Is there a way that I can use my own background? So I was like, I would rather not use Bruno because I think that's misleading. He's not here. But check this out. I recorded the Planeta singing, and they actually have an accent and everything. And she was like, oh my God, this is perfect. So it was great, man. It was great.
Wow. Because even just the task of making the salsa remix of Die With a Smile for Lady Gaga for the Super Bowl, for making it short enough while still feeling full.
Yeah.
Could be a daunting task.
It was great, man. I got to give it to Big J and I got to give it to the band. Those guys are phenomenal, man. Those guys, it's like make the best Italian dish you can, and you have the best cook and the best kitchen and the best everything in front of you. You know, that makes your job a lot easier, man.
And you can see Gaga put it in her shoulders.
Yes, she did. She was up there and she was throwing some of the words. She was great, man. She is a beautiful human. It was great to work with her.
That's
in that capacity, because I had worked with her before behind her.
Right.
But in that capacity was really cool.
Okay, so I want to go back to, you were saying, like, telling Harriet, oh yeah, we can make it happen. My team, we can move fast. Let's talk about how small your team is, because I think people wouldn't understand that you're kind of a one-man show.
In this specific situation, it's just me and John. John is my mixer. And that was it.
So great.
Well, Sharaf is, studio assistant, and he was helping with organizing files and stuff. But it's literally, I'm a programming guy, man. And everything, that's what I do, from day one, like I said to you. I am behind the computer. I know how to do it. I love to do it. I want to believe that I do it pretty well,
Yes.
And there's a way in which I approach it, and it's, I'm creating, I'm doing it. And John has been working with me for a few years now. He does Masked Singer with me. I love his ears, man. And it's somebody, because I'm a team player. Yeah. First and foremost, I'm always a team player. I'm not the guy that I do it all. No, I like to have people around me because I like to bounce ideas. I like to, hey man, and even what's your vision of what I did, especially him as a mixer.
Yes.
How do you hear what I'm doing, and making that into the final product? And then we have the conversation, no, maybe a little more this, a little more that. But in this situation, even Harriet looked at me and she was like, look at you, one-man band. I was like, it's just how I had to move. It's how I had to move to make this happen.
That's incredible.
It was crazy.
Because you're in rehearsals without the band.
Yeah.
Rehearsals is choreo and the dancers. You flying to South America, trying to grab whatever you can of the band, meet with the guys, come back, program, constantly change it, constantly edit it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got the call in December. January 4th was rehearsal started?
was when the beginning of choreography rehearsals.
Okay.
Yeah.
So still, which is like, what,
Yeah.
a month before the show?
Before. I came back from Colombia, I want to say it was like January 26th, 25th.
You're still
like
tracking.
We had just tracked
Oh
the
my
final
God.
band, everything. Final band, everything.
So no production rehearsals yet. That comes
No
after that.
production from Miga yet. I have raw files of recording the band.
Oh
now
my.
I have to edit, chop, put, move, align, put on top. And I'm literally in the airport, like I told you in Colombia, doing the Lo Que Pasó Hawaii arrangement. And Harriet is like, tomorrow, Hamish, who's the director of the show, is coming with cameras. And we need to have this done. Well, it wasn't tomorrow. It was something like, yeah, I think it was tomorrow. It was on a Thursday and she needed it by Saturday, but it's an international flight. So you get to
you
LA
lose a day.
You lose a day. It was something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to do my best. But I knew it inside of me because of this TV crazy stuff that I go through all the time. I said, we're going to do it. It's going to be all right, but let me not guarantee anything. So I was like, I'm going to try my best. So then once I got home on my way, I was texting John. I was like, John, we're going to have a long one.
Yeah.
But I'm going to send you all of this stuff, blah, 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 blah. We need to do this. We need to do that. So I got home and I was up until probably like maybe 7, 8 in the morning programming additional transitions, the breakdowns, blah, 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 doing all that stuff. Sent it to him. He did all his magic that he does, send it back, couple notes, this and that, boom, boom, boom. By the time Hamish rehearsal of camera rehearsals at rehearsal, because he brings not the official cameras, but he brings a lot of little cameras for him to start studying the shots.
Who is Hamish?
Hamish is the director. He's the main director. Hamish Hamilton. He is, if you don't know him, look him up. He is the GOAT. Literally.
He always does the halftime show, right?
Hamish, man, he always does the halftime show. He does the Oscars. He comes from way back. And first time I worked with him was with Christina Aguilera back in 2006 when we shot a DVD. So he comes from that world of DVDs. And he was the main guy doing all the music DVDs back in the day. And I haven't asked him, but they say he's the guy who created that famous shot of you watching a show through the iPhone because there's somebody in the audience. Yeah, he was the first guy to do that. So he's like the GOAT. That dude is big time, done. And he is one of the owners of Done and Dusted, who is a huge production here in town.
Yes.
And we've done some Saudi Arabia shows together. Knew him as well from that stuff and from Christina. He's the sweetest man. But he was coming with his smaller setup and team to start shot 1, shot 2, shot 3, what they're going to be. And Harriet was like, we have to have final music. How we're not going to have final music, So that
this is 2 weeks before show.
2 weeks,
less than
2 weeks before we actually get into the stadium to start rehearsing everything, And that was that, stay until 8 in the morning. I remember going to sleep. I mean, not going to sleep, putting my kids to sleep. I was working. They wake up to go to school. I'm still working. The whole night is gone and I'm in there doing the thing. Send it to John. John, send it back. Sounds great. Boom, boom, boom. At least now we have a way better sketch than before. This is like about 99% now.
Yeah.
And let's move. Let's go. So we meet the deadline of Hamish and things keep moving.
Wow. Where were rehearsals?
At the Shrine.
And the Shrine had some sort of set blocking?
Yes. So the Shrine that we know, the Shrine, come to find out, is where the Pepsi commercial thing happened with Michael, where the hair burned off.
Really?
It was at the Shrine. I didn't know that.
I did not know that.
But the backstage of Shrine has this huge, I don't know what they use it for, but it's...
I know what you're talking about.
Almost like a basketball arena type of thing, but it's bigger than that.
Yeah.
But it was exactly the dimension of the football field.
So they don't clear the stage?
It wasn't on the stage at all. The stage was actually being used for the pre-record of When He Falls Through the Casita.
Got it. So the stage was still living there, but they built on top of it. And that huge area is where you did
It's where we did all the rerehearsals. And
if you've been backstage at the Shrine, you know this area. Like it's the weird long walk to the dressing rooms.
Exactly. I don't know what they use it for. I really don't.
I never even thought about it. I always just would do the walk and never think, why is this so big? What are we doing here?
Gigantic. A gigantic place. It was all taped out because it was literally the 100 yards.
And had fake grass or
fake grass. And actually, we didn't have fake grass. We just had pipe and drape.
Oh, yeah.
Pipe and drape. And it was just, all the different scenarios because it was a lot of different ambiences that we were going through
So
and
many
everything.
scenes.
Yeah, and all the scenes were already kind of taped out, so the dancers could, and understand. And then once Benito came to rehearsal and all of that.
So Benito did come to rehearsal before
the stadium. He
rehearsal.
did. I want to say maybe 2 days he did.
Okay. So rehearsal was the same place as, call it production rehearsal.
Production rehearsal.
Yeah.
Yes, it was a production
all
rehearsal.
Just the whole thing was the production.
The whole thing. But Charm and team, they were there for a full month.
Yeah.
Because of everything that I was going through, I was only able to be there for a week, the last week of it all. And I think Benito came for like maybe 2 days of that. He is a very spontaneous guy, and he said it. He once, with the first day of rehearsal, he got all the creatives together, and he said, "Man, I love all of this, guys. I absolutely love it." Had a few notes, obviously, and he was like, "I just want to tell you guys, I'm not a rehearsal person. I work hard." He said, "I work hard.
Yeah.
I work really hard. But I'm not a rehearsal type of guy.
I'm not going to do it 100 times.
I'm not going to do it 100 times. I'm not going to do it 200 times. I'm probably going to give you maybe 5 times."
With all that camera blocking,
all the stuff that he had to do, man, and looking at this camera and doing this and boom, boom, boom. He's that guy. He's literally that guy. And it was crazy because, okay, so let's go back to the beginning. And I'm sorry if it's getting too long. You can edit
No, it's
all
not,
that stuff
dude.
later.
That's the beauty of a podcast.
True.
We can just go, baby.
True.
We're going.
So going back on the first few sketches that we had, that part at the end in which he grabbed the ball and he said, "God bless America," and he started naming all the countries.
With the epic drum outro.
That drum breakdown is from the song Café Corron. It's part of the song. We didn't know what he was going to do there.
You didn't know what he was going to say?
We never knew what he was going to say.
He just said, "I want a drum breakdown and I'm going to do something."
I want the drum breakdown of Café Corron to be right there. And it was like, okay, cool. I'm from Brazil.
Yeah.
Made sense to me.
Yeah.
I know samba's and you don't need singing on top of it. Sure.
Yeah.
But now we're talking TV.
Yeah.
So then we were like, maybe this is a little too long. Maybe let's cut it down to 10 seconds. Maybe it'll be, a better situation. Boom. Send it back to him. And in one of his notes, he said, "It's imperative that it's 20 seconds long." Cool. No problem. We're going to make it 20 seconds long. I don't mind. His planeros are 4 guys. Usually the planeros are played in that situation because there's only 3 sizes of drums. So it's 3 drums and a singer, and that's how they serenade. Harriet looked at me and said, "There's going to be hundreds of people on the field, and we need to visually represent the visual, but with the audio.
How
So
big
we
that is.
need to augment all of that."
Yeah.
So when I was in the studio with the guys, I said, "Hey guys, we need to make a planazo. We need to make this thing as big as possible." So they were passing the 3 different drums in between them, in between the band and all of them. So you have a different hit of your hand. And then we were also tuning them differently. So you don't have phasing issues and all that stuff,
Yeah.
right? So we got to like 100 and something takes of all that stuff. It was sounding huge. The plena, and I'm going to get nerdy. The plena in itself is a very frequency speaking is very harsh. It's all very MIDI and ding, ding, ding. And that needed to sound massive. And there's only so much that you can do recording 100 and something of them, tuning them to make it sound massive. But it was very important to represent the culture of Puerto Rico. So what did I do when I came back from Colombia, 7 a.m, all that stuff? I know, scientifically speaking, inside of music, you need the subs, you need the highs, you need to fill out the whole speaker, as my great friend Val has always said to me. Valdez Bentley, shout out. He said it, and I'm going to say his words. He said, "You see that speaker? You see how there's 3 things? You need to fill out all 3 things. And that's how you get a wall of sound." So to speak in those terms, the plena was just the middle. So I added surdos, which is part of the Brazilian stuff. I added some sub frequencies. I added some high frequencies with repique and stuff. But all of these different instruments and things that I'm adding, they're not part of the culture of Puerto Rico. So what I said to John was, make sure that the transients that people are hearing are the plenas always, but keep the other frequencies around so it sounds like this, as opposed to just this little mid thing.
Yeah.
Right. And we just made that thing gigantic. Now, going back to what we were saying, every rehearsal that we had, it was 20 seconds of drums. To me, I used to get goosebumps because it's part of my thing, but But management was telling us he has something really special that he's going to say there. We can't tell you what it is, but there's going to be something special. And it wasn't just that part. It was also the Monaco. Monaco, you were like, hey man, you're just gonna say, because the original song starts with a ooh ooh ooh,
Yeah.
ooh ooh ooh, and we were like, that's all you're gonna do, just ooh ooh oohs, and it was the Spike Lee camera, which is right that flat shot that it's moving him in a cart,
And he's looking right at
and
the
he's
camera.
looking right at the camera, and the creative director, we were all like, man, what? You're just gonna ooh ooh ooh? Sure, you're gonna ooh ooh, that's fine. So then eventually management said, no, he's gonna talk there too. But we didn't know what that talk was, but we're just rehearsing, we're going because we trust this dude. This dude literally has a vision,
Yeah.
and all of us are going along with his vision, and we know it's going to be incredible. But we didn't get to hear that actual talk that he was going to do there and the talk that he did at the end until dress rehearsal. So every rehearsal before that, it was just regular. And he's the type of guy, like I said, like he doesn't like to rehearse, so let's say he did 10 rehearsals with us. He, about 8 of them just marked.
Yeah.
He would sing 3-4 lines and then just groove, get his choreography, another 3-4 lines, groove choreography. Me and the audio team in the truck, like, just give us something, man, because I know this is not your final rehearsal level, but eventually at dress rehearsal, he gave us a full pass. And that was the first time I heard it. I think that was the first time I think Harriet, he had to send it to Harriet before, and I think she had eyes on it, but maybe like 12 hours before, something like that, And when we all first heard it, broadcast truck, we're tearing up. Everybody's like, oh my God, this is so powerful. This is incredible, and good for him for having that vision and keeping it so tight to himself,
Man, 2 of my favorite parts of the show are those 2 moments.
Yeah.
And like, he just portrayed so much love.
So much love, man. So much love. You know what's funny? They kept telling me that he was a very secretive guy. Everything is a secret, right? I mean, the Gaga thing, it was beyond secret. I understand, but it was also the way that he does things. So I forget exactly where it was going to go to, but that was part of his secrecy. It was absolutely not talking about that situation and what I'm going to say and what these messages are going to be, but be ready that I'm going to have some messages, and I got you.
Because you were just saying how secretive he is.
Like, he's a secretive guy, and he, I started joking with the band as secretón. Everything is a secret. They were telling me he has in his tour, he has special guests come every country that he goes to, and there was, when they went to Mexico, there was this huge band that he wanted to be part, but he wanted it to be such a secret that, he forbid the band from a sound check, because you never know if TMZ is going to be there. You never know if somebody's going to be listening. So they couldn't do a sound check. So the sound man was telling me, he was like, man, I had to go with these guys raw. Like, there was never a sound check just because he wanted to keep a secret. Oh, this is what it was. He was giving an interview at Apple right before the show. And they asked him, so when you found out about doing the Super Bowl, who was the first person that you told? And he said, nobody. And they were like, not even your mom, man? You don't even call your mom? He was like, no, I kept it for myself for at least 2 weeks. And he was like, I don't know if it was true. I don't know if they were messing with me. Wow. He's that guy. He keeps a lot of it in here. Yeah. And then it comes, and it's amazing. Wow. Yeah.
He's still Benito, like from before he's Bad Bunny.
Oh, yeah. He's Benito. That's the man. That's the man.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Everything just sounds special and like treasured and so well thought. The vision, everything you're saying is crazy. And then like not even giving it all in rehearsals, which I totally understand, and just like the stress that must have put on all you guys, and just like, is this good? Is this going to be good?
Or even just on a simple, how much compression we're going to put in your vocal, because we don't know how much you're actually giving, how much you're not giving. Can I EQ this or can I not? A lot of the rehearsals, he had a t-shirt on his face right here, and he has the Michael Jackson microphone with the t-shirt. For audio, it doesn't sound
Why does he have a t-shirt on his face?
Come to find out that he was already rehearsing without saying the things that were going to happen that were secrets.
He didn't even want you guys to know.
He didn't want the world to know. So he was under the t-shirt. You could see the whole thing moving, but there was nothing coming out.
What, bro?
Yeah,
it's so much dedication to the secrecy.
So much dedication to the secrecy and what I'm going to say and all of that, And it was beautiful, man. It was really beautiful. And I was telling my mom, I said, no matter how hard we try to be the best of what we do, right? The best musician, the best cameraman, the best creative director, all of us, the whole entire team, we all are going to give it our 100%. There was something extra, man. It was a special feeling in the air. It was a special moment in history. It was a special thing that I don't even think he asked for, right? It was just something that it was just happening, and he just so happened to be the face of it, and it was so many combination of events and things and energetic things and political things, whatever you want to say, that when the thing went, it was just an explosion beyond everybody's belief.
Yeah.
It was like goosebumps, man. It was truly like a special power over the whole situation.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
Yeah, the whole moment leading up to it, and then he just took the moment, and I just love and respect him so much for what he did in the moment, because he didn't come at it with anger or hatred.
No.
He came at it with just like beauty and love, and showing
Yeah.
how amazing his culture and his people are.
That's it.
And then inspiring others and
That's it.
passing the torch forward. You can do this too. Everything like
That's it, man.
Oh.
Then representing the culture of everything. Of, like I said, with Lady Gaga, he could have put a wall and said, no, we're only gonna. No, he made it. This is Puerto Rico, and Puerto Rico is the United States in all of the Americas, like he listed. I mean, I'm a Brazilian guy working on it with my, knowledge of Latin music. It was so inclusive. It was so beautiful. I was so proud of the music that, that the final product of the music and what it represented and how it came out, from the technical side of the transients and the EQs to the actual meaning of it. It was, it's one of those things that you wish for. I think music, it's not just entertainment. Music is so many things, right? Music is faith. Music is happiness. Music is a lot of things. And if I can contribute to a moment in history of society through music and through this God-given talent, man, I was so taken back. It was beautiful.
Yeah, you crushed it.
Thank you, man. I
Yeah, you
appreciate
took the
it.
moment, bro. Wow.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, and your life
Thank you.
was built. I mean, your whole life was preparation for
It was prep for all of that, man.
So I want you to watch the Super Bowl halftime show again. I watched it earlier today, and it hits so much harder the second and third time.
Yeah.
Like when you're not just surprised watching it and being entertained, but when you're like analyzing all the Easter eggs and all these things and how smooth. Think about it again with MIGA sitting at his laptop in the airport in Colombia 2 weeks before. think about that when you watch it.
Everything just
All the transitions.
It just plays. Everything kind of plays, but there's things around that, but it all worked out.
Let's talk about his vocal.
Okay.
Because it's always band is always playback. And a lot of the times the singers is playback too, right? Pre-recorded. He was not. He did it.
They were all live. Gaga, him, and Rickey. And the Quattro player. God forbid we forget the Quattro player. Man, because that to me was the biggest. Oh my gosh.
The high-end frequencies and RF from the Quattro player.
Oh my gosh.
The vocals are so amazing.
Yeah, man.
And it's okay. I was actually watching it expecting it to be pre-recorded. And I was like, man, he's hitting all the ad-libs too. That's crazy. But then hearing the mix, I'm like, I was going to ask you, how did you record him so well to where it sounds live, but it's actually live?
He's using the Madonna thing. Yeah. He chews on it. It's really, so you have this kind of type of sound coming from him.
Sounds so much better like that.
So knowing what that is. And the other thing is his sound guy was there with me the whole time, who was a legend. Man, that guy, Jose, he's everything. He's a legend of Latin music. He's been doing this. He was telling me he's been touring for 40 years, from everybody, Celia Cruz to, Mark Anthony. He's done it all. He's the man. And he was there with me, and I was like, hey, man, so his microphone, how does it work live? I'm asking him questions, and he was like, man, that dude is loud. He is so loud. He was like, so much so that when we're a sound check and I'm asking people to check his microphone, even when they scream, they don't get as loud as him.
And also because how low his voice is.
How low his voice is and how deep it's inside of his mouth type of thing,
And he's belting.
So knowing all these things without having him actually give us final vocals.
Oh, man.
I was talking to Tom Holmes, who was the mixer, and we were like, hey, man, so this much compression, EQs this way, slap back a little bit, boom, 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 and everything just kind of hit. He did give us vocals on the what's it called? Dress rehearsal. That was the first time we had that vocal. And once we had that vocal, it was like, okay, everybody stop. Once everything was done, it was just me and Tom Holmes and Jose, and we're together. Like, okay, so now we can compress it better. Now we know what it is, the frequencies, we know what it is, and it was
you got to nail it quick because you're only going to get a few of those.
Yeah. I mean, after dress rehearsal, it was show.
Is dress rehearsal in stadium?
In stadium.
And how many days before is that?
That's actually really cool too, because the greenkeepers are the biggest thing in football, right?
Mhm.
So you can't be on their field.
Wow.
So there is the practice stadium next door to the stadium. So majority of rehearsals happen there, maybe like 3 days there. And then we actually only have 2 days on the actual field and only a certain amount of time because you can't mess up the grass. That's the
Right.
whole point of it all, right? It's a football game. It's not a show. Well,
Right.
it's a football game with a show in it.
Right.
But you don't want the football player running down and there's a hole because the stage something and he breaks his ankle. That's not cool.
Right.
So we only had about, in the stadium itself, officially broadcast truck, about 2 days.
2 days.
It's like Wednesday and Thursday, then Friday and Saturday are off days in which they do security sweep, and they also do all the national anthem and all that stuff, and then we come back on Sunday, and Sunday is show.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the stage plot in those 2 days is living there?
Yes, that's the first time that we're rolling carts onto the actual field, but on the practice field, we're rolling carts as well.
And practicing
That was really cool to see.
the
I've never
transition
seen that
and
before.
the 5-minute turn or 10-minute turnaround of that huge production.
They have 9 minutes to turn it around, but they were able to do it within 6-something minutes. But it's really cool. It's teamwork. It's very similar to samba and samba schools in Brazil where they have these different carts and people pushing. And there's a team, there's like a captain of the team, and then there's the people who push, and then the captain is telling them to the right, to the left, go. And it's like a camaraderie in between them. They're all trying to hit the mark and trying to hit the time that they have, and they're all happy, like, yeah, we did it. It was pretty cool to see. I'd never seen it.
And you got not just people building a stage and building these sets and everything, but you also have all the grass people.
The grass people were there too. 400 of them. 400 of them.
So they have to run out and hit their mark they can somehow see.
It was amazing, man. It was amazing. I was talking to Tom Holmes. Tom Holmes, the mixer, he was so infatuated by it all. He was like, man, this is going to be the new left truck.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know exactly what to buy you for Halloween, man. And
There's going to be so many people dressed as that for Halloween.
It was great. It was absolutely, and he was so smart. It was such a smart thing, because they were able to move and actually make the walls to all the different scenes that were happening, So it was great.
They were moving during the show?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. I mean, I can't tell from watching the broadcast.
Yes, because you're making the different scenes. There were so many different scenes, and they were, the thing.
Who are these people? Are they dancers?
So I don't know if you saw it, but on the news right before, I'm going to say maybe a month before, it started coming out on the news. Oh, he's having dancer auditions, and you have to be a certain height. And people started getting mad because the height was a little bit taller than what Latinos. They're usually shorter. Oh, you're not representing the culture. These people are too tall, and da 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 da. I come to find out they all had to be a certain height to be the Bush people.
Bush people.
It was great.
So they were dancers, or they were just people?
No, they were people.
Wow.
They were just regular people.
Yeah.
Who signed up for the job.
Wow.
Yeah. And you have to be a certain height, and that was it.
So there's so many Easter eggs in the show, right? Even even there's musical Easter eggs like Gasolina real quick and everything. Yeah. So is there an Easter egg that was like a favorite to you, or one that people didn't recognize maybe?
I think that everything had a plan. I don't know, man. I'm so deep into the details of it that to me everything was kind of like, it wasn't an Easter egg.
Right.
It was
Right.
in your face, and if you didn't really realize it, but I liked it all, man. Maybe I would say the wedding, that was really cool.
Yeah.
That was a real wedding that happened, and yeah, it was really, really cool. There was, he says as an artist, there's tons of people that send him, messages, would you like to be part of, da, 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 da. So they went through a whole bunch, chose a couple, and the couple was there with us. They rehearsed with us the whole time, but it was a real wedding, a real pastor, if you will, and they got married on stage.
So
How cool is that?
That's so cool.
Right?
Being an Angelino, this was one of my screaming moments was, so who put Via's Tacos in there?
That was Leticia, if I'm not mistaken. She was the art director, and she lives, I think you would have to ask her, but I remember her talking about it in the bus. I think she lives in Highland Park.
Oh, nice.
And when they were, I don't know if it was her It was part of the creative team. Somebody lives in Highland Park and said, "Hey, this guy," and brought him in. Da da da. Let me see pictures. Let me see your business. Boom, boom, boom. Perfect. That was a great one.
That's a good choice.
That was a great one.
It's funny, you and I were talking about COVID before we were recording. We were hanging, and I was talking about how I was always going to Verse and everything when it was just closed, and it was just like me and Manny. But that's when VS Tacos really started taking off,
right?
Back in those COVID days, and it was at I think it's at his mom's or his grandma's house,
right?
And you'd pull up to. Did you ever do that?
I didn't.
You would order on Instagram.
Yeah.
They give you a slotted window because it was COVID, right?
Sure,
So it's like you have to pick up between 7 and 7:05 p.m. and you'd
Sure.
pull up to his mom or his grandma's house, and they'd be all the operations there in the backyard.
Yeah.
And they would just like run out and be like, "Elmo, here you go, man." And because you had already Venmo'd.
Right.
And that was how VS Tacos. I don't know if that's how it started. I feel like that's how it started. I could be wrong, but that's when I discovered it and when it started going crazy on Instagram and when I developed my VS Tacos addiction of just being like, these are the greatest tacos in the game.
Honestly, Elmo, I was so focused in the music that a lot of the stuff that was happening around, I wasn't even there. I was in Colombia, I was in Chile, I was in my studio. So I only found out about the taco guy because first day of rehearsal in the Parallel Arena, the Parallel Stadium, we had tacos for dinner. And randomly, one dude who was part of the show, because there's 500, 600 people sitting down eating their food, randomly he says, "My tacos are way better than this." And everybody was like, "Yeah!"
Because it was him.
And I was like, what are they talking about? So I asked the people around me, and they were like, "Oh, this is the taco stand." I was like, "Oh my God, that is so cool." And then he kind of told us a little bit of the story and what made them special and their flavor and how they do it, how they cook it, and all of that.
It's so good. This wasn't supposed to be a VS Tacos commercial, but I think the whole Super Bowl was.
Yeah.
Because if you've had it, you know.
It's great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, man. So you said Bad Bunny had never had a musical director before.
Mm-hmm.
How do you musical direct an artist that's never had a musical director?
Well, he is the driving force of music, right? I saw the other day, I think it was Tiny. Was it Tiny? Or was it Mag? I think it was Mag. He posted, Mag is the one of the producers that he has on his album. He posted, they went to #1 on Billboard, and it was the "Devi tira my fotos, bum." So one thing was, one picture was the Billboard thing, the other picture was, the song, and then the other one was actually a voice note. And he's playing a voice note, and it took me back because it's literally how I did it with him. And it's a voice note of him saying, "We're going to start with the guitar, then we should go with the planas right here. We should do it this way." And he just has a vision, man. That dude has a vision. He is specific, and that's no slight on, people who are products and that are made. No, there's no right or wrong, right? There is an artist who is 100% hands down on everything that happens. And there's some artists that are just like creative for me. And it's both are part of the pop world. There's no one better than the other, but he was very specific and he knew exactly what he wanted visually and musically speaking, and I was just glad that I had enough background inside of the culture to be able to add to the pie and make it even bigger and the stronger rocket ship, if you will,
How do you build trust with an artist? And when did you realize that Bad Bunny trusted you?
Funny to say, in the beginning, they didn't want to introduce me to him. They said management.
Classic.
They said, do what you got to do what you got to do what you got to do, because nobody knew how he was going to react to having a music director.
Right.
Right. But I think that the music spoke for itself, and it didn't have to be formal. It just became voice messages going back and forth, until I just gave him a big hug when I saw him, and I was like, "Man, it's an honor." And he was like, "No, thank you." I said, "No, thank you, man." And he was like, "No, thank you." And I said, "Look, my Spanish is broken up. I call it a portuñol because I speak Portuguese and Spanish kind of put together." And he was like, "Oh, that's beautiful. We're going to Brazil, man. You got to teach me some Portuguese." But it became love instantly.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, man.
All right, so Super Bowl, you're there?
Yeah, of course.
Are you in the truck?
I'm in the truck.
You're in the truck. Where's the truck?
The truck is way far.
Wow, that's another thing.
Way too far for no reason. way too far, and praying that the RFs of the Quattro was gonna work,
Yeah.
man. That was the biggest thing. But being in there, that's the job of the MD when you
Yeah.
go on TV and the live events. You are the one responsible for music. So
Yeah.
you want to make sure that everything's going correctly, talking to Tom, sharing ideas and mix wise and playback, everything like you're in that room.
It ends.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I came back home for a day and then I went back out to Nashville to rehearse. I worked with Lauren Daigle and we were going to do Carnegie Hall.
Just straight back into
Back
work.
into it,
Yeah.
I got her, man. I got her back. I love that girl. And she was doing Carnegie Hall House Special. It's our
super
second
awesome.
year.
Super awesome.
Orchestra 200 choir,
Yeah.
it was super, super cool. And I was able to put that together as well. So we went to Nashville, rehearsed some of the stuff, went to New York, did the Carnegie Hall show. Then when I got home, I slept for as much as I could. It was my birthday for one of the days, so obviously went out with my wife and my kids, and we went to go have Japanese barbecue. It wasn't Gayukaku, but it was the other one. I forget its name now, and we had it with the kids. It was great, and Papai was asleep at like 9:30 p.m.
No celebratory purchase?
Man, look, I'm a really low-key guy, man. Like, this is probably maybe like the third podcast I've ever done in my life. I'm really shy. I'm not the most social person. Even doing this one, it was like my wife, like, you have to, Miga, like, you have to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
When I first got the call to do the Super Bowl, my wife, let's go out to eat. Cool, let's go out to eat. We get to the restaurant with my kids and they're like, are you guys celebrating anything? And I was like, no, my wife, yes, we are. He is doing the Super Bowl. So then he's telling the whole restaurant, and I want to throw myself under the table. For me, man, music is so sacred, man. It's such a, like you said, I come from generations of musicians. Both my grandparents, my father, my uncles, my aunts, my cousins, everybody plays music. It was almost one of those things that I didn't choose it, but obviously I did choose it, but it was just there,
Yeah.
And it's such a sacred thing, man. And I said it before, music is not just entertainment. Music is so many things, and I'm really strong in the belief, and I've said this before, of the devotion to music. Music is, you have to devote yourself to it, just like you
Yeah.
devote yourself to religion or to whatever it is. It's a devotion. So all of those things, it's one of the things that I used to post about back in the day. I don't even post, man. I don't like posting. I feel naked on the internet every time I post. But it's that, man. It's your devotion and your love to it. That's for me. Don't do it for the glory.
Yeah.
Don't do it for the applause. Don't do it for the homies to be. No, do it because you love it.
Yes,
And that has always been my thing.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I'm so happy that everything is just going so well for you, man.
Thank you,
It's
brother.
amazing.
I
You
appreciate
deserve
it.
it, dude.
Thank you so
deserve it.
much, man. Thank you.
So you're not doing anything right now with Bad Bunny?
No,
Moving
I'm
forward?
not. That was
the
it
halftime
was
show.
It was just a halftime show.
Yeah.
And back to all the other stuff that I do. I take care of different artists. I'm an MD for different artists. I'm an MD for different TV shows, and everything that comes with that. Mass Singer, we've done 12 seasons of it now.
Have you done all 12 seasons?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man. That's another crazy hour that we could spend here talking about it,
The TV grind seems wild with the music turnaround and how fast it is.
Insanity.
Yeah.
We're producing somewhere around 100 tracks to 120 fully produced. If you've been in a studio, know what that is, to fully produce a song within a month. It's like the craziest thing in the world.
The whole season's in a month?
Everything has to be done within a month,
Wow.
and it's actually something that I'm really proud of. We started doing COVID, and COVID was when we couldn't be together, we couldn't be in studios, so we developed the system. There's maybe about 30 to 40 of us working on the show on my team, of being able to flip these songs at the speed that we do with 3 mixers. We have, the guy who keeps the books together. We have, the different pods of musicians and bands. But these are some of the Avengers of music who are the baddest of the baddest of
I
the
know
baddest.
who a lot of them are. They are the baddest.
And, Aaron Spears, he did about 11 seasons with us. That's my brother. But it's really like the baddest cats put together, and we come up with some crazy stuff. I've also done, Don't Forget the Lyrics, in which that was another crazy experience. I don't know if you know that show. It's a live band. We had to rehearse 300 songs within like 3 weeks. And it's a game show, man. It's literally a game show that they're playing in front of you, and it could be any one of those 300 songs that you recorded. So for every show, they have a packet of about 50 songs that they give to you and said it could be any one of those. And okay, cool. Here comes Johnny Smith. Okay, da 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 da. We played the music. Boom, boom. Johnny Smith is there. So you look at the board, and it says, "I want to choose 1980s." Cool. So now we're looking at our songs. What are the songs that could be in the 1980s? I want to sing Madonna. Okay, now which ones are the Madonnas? I'm going to sing this song. And Johnny Smith, are you ready to go? They don't ask the band.
Yeah. The band is just, you're ready.
You're ready.
You're ready.
You know what I mean? I mean, if I had an issue, obviously I would talk to the director here, but I had some of the baddest cats with me. I had Teddy Campbell, Dave DeLome, Tarek Coney, the best of the best, my brother Ray, Alex Owl on bass, everybody who knows how to read, who you can depend on, and all of this. And it was crazy because every chart, man.
You got to read. You got to be perfect at reading.
Perfect reading. Because in this situation, look at that,
Yeah.
And then not only that, every chart, depending on what level of the game you were, the difficulty was harder. So for every chart we had 3 different colors of where the starting point and the ending point of that song is. Because the show is, we play a song, you stop, and the person has to keep going according to the little dashes that you have, right? So do you remember 21st night, boom, 2 blocks. What are the next lyrics? Right, and the person has to say whatever those lyrics are. So for us, we're literally reading the chart
until it stops.
And I'm telling the band we're on level 1. Level 1 means yellow, so go from yellow to yellow, and here we go. Same song, but now it's being used for level 2. So go from
language,
go from blue to blue. So every chart had 3 different colors on what the possibility was going to be. With whatever Johnny Smith was going to choose. It was insane, man.
That's so strange.
It was stressful.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
It was stressful.
Those are weird downbeats, or not even downbeats.
No.
Not on the downbeat.
Sometimes it ends on the E.
Yeah.
Sometimes it ends on the and. But Teddy is a killer of that. He was driving us. Teddy
Campbell's the guy of that.
He's the man, that's my brother too. I mean, different TV experiences. 98 years of Dick Van Dyke. I did that special as well. Many different things, man. And working with artists, I don't know, man.
That's so crazy. I only did TV when I was the musical guest, which is that's just you play the song, right?
Sure.
And then I did for 1 week, I filled in on drums for Late Night with Seth Meyers.
Yeah.
I filled in for Fred Armisen and did that. That was my only time being in the house band.
Yes, sir.
Right. But that's not, because those guys in that band, it's Fred Armisen and his band, they're kind of more punk rock. So it's like not a chart gig. You're not reading charts. It was just like write music every day, write your cues.
Yeah.
You have 12 cues or something.
Yeah.
In and out of commercial, guest comes in.
Yeah.
The challenge was just ending the song when we called out the guest, just whenever they sat down on the couch.
Yeah.
So when they walked out and then they do their wave, and then the second their butt hits the seat, you're out.
Yeah.
It's not on the 1.
Nah.
And that was the weirdest thing.
And it has to be musical.
It sounds like that's a gig of entirely that.
And it has to be musical. Look, when we were at the Tonight Show, we actually developed it, not only finishing the button of the song, but okay, we'll be right back. There's not enough time for the drummer to be like 1, 2, 3, 4. So we developed these the little language of pickups that Teddy would do.
Yeah.
We were at the Tonight Show with Rickey Minor, the band, and it was like Indugu. Indugu was one of the pickups. Boom, boom, boom.
That Phil is the Indugu Phil.
You know what I mean? So we would have written on top of the chart.
He would just say it in your ears?
So we had a rehearsal. We would have a 1-hour rehearsal every day, in which tonight we're going to play these 5 songs. And what are the pickups for all of these songs? Hey, tell us what's it going to be. This song we're going to start with Indugu. This song we're going to start with Shot Barbecue. And
it's always Teddy. It's always drums.
It's always drums to get us to where the 1 is. You know what I mean? And it's hilarious, man. It was hilarious. Hey, man, we're doing what's the pickup? Indugu. Cool, Indugu. You just write Indugu, and you already know what that is.
Dude, wait, what was the other one besides Indugu?
We had Shot Barbecue. We just had barbecue. Shot Backadoom, or just barbecue Backadoom. It was a few, man. It was hilarious.
The only one that I've ever known of with those is Pat Boone, Debbie Boone.
Yeah. There was, and it was great, man. It was incredible. But yes, the comeback is the same thing, and it was all us waiting on Rickey to where he's going to put it down on a musical down or up.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
So we're kind of going in reverse chronological order here, but this is fun. So Okay, because you haven't toured in a long time.
I haven't toured in a long time.
You've been doing essentially TV and things like this. So did you stop touring when Rickey Minor called you for Tonight Show?
Yes, sir. We had just gotten back from Jonas Brothers. Jonas
Nice.
Brothers was the craziest experience of my life. 2008, 2009. Those boys were like the
Biggest
biggest.
Jonas Brothers moment.
My gosh, it was
Wow.
like Beatles.
Yeah.
Like hundreds of kids outside of your hotel screaming the songs. You can't even get in a car. They're shaking the car, banging. Like it was nuts. Never seen anything like that.
And that was with the horns?
With the horns.
Mika's horn section, which we haven't even shouted out
Yeah,
yet. So
man.
the horns.
And, we were going around the world in Jimmy Buffett's 747. There was a whole entire first class 747.
Wait, it was actually Jimmy Buffett's?
It was his. Yeah.
Jimmy Buffett's 747.
Insane.
What was the 747 like?
It was all first class.
That's great.
The whole entire thing.
Yeah.
Like every chair was a first class chair,
Yeah.
and we're in there. It was bananas, man. And we were just going around the world. So that was great. Come back home. I didn't have kids at the time, but I was already with my girlfriend. At the time, she was my girlfriend, my wife now, Tiana, and we were at the Vons in Hollywood. And Rickey Minor calls me. He's like, "Hey, man, how are you?" Boom. Great. He's like, "Are you sitting down?" I said, "No, I'm not." He was like, "Well, you better sit down." I was like, "What's up, man? Just tell me what's up." He was like, "Man, I want to invite you and the guys to be part of the Tonight Show with Jay Leno."
Wow.
Changed my life.
Wow.
Changed my life.
You and the guys being the horns.
The horns.
Yeah.
Changed my life. Absolutely the greatest job I've probably ever had. Jay was the greatest boss. Man, you playing music every single day. You paid vacations. I was able to buy a house. I was able to marry my wife. I was able to create a family. It was great, man. It was absolutely beautiful.
How old were you at the time?
That is 2010. I'm from 1983. I'm like 27 years old, something like that.
Wow, dude.
The lineage before me, man, Branford, Ralph
Yeah,
Moore.
Branford was on sax before.
man,
That's
I
crazy.
was the guy there, every single night the show would open with me and Paul Jackson Jr. playing the melody. Like, it was insane.
And that band.
And the band was
my
out of control.
God.
And already because we had been working with Rickey prior to that, we were doing American Idol days. That's how we got with him, and the whole reading machine of it all, and it's like you said, we would be playing a song coming back from commercial, and, you have to also play the play-ons of whoever's going to be there. I don't know, Kevin Hart, ladies and gentlemen. But, the producer decided that the play-on that we're going to play is not exactly the one that we rehearsed. So we're playing, and here comes the assistant putting a new chart in front of you because Kevin Hart is going to come out, and the one that you rehearsed is not the one, you know what I mean? And the chart is there, and here comes the bagadoom, and you just have to hit and play. And, it was great, man. It was absolutely great. Loved it. It was a great experience. Loved being with my brothers and making so much music in that place. It was incredible. And it was in that environment that it opened up the whole music direction situation for me. Because we were rehearsing with Rickey, and Rickey said, "I want to start playing more pop songs. But for us to be able to play pop songs, we need to have stems, and we don't have stems. So we need a programmer." And I remember going home, calling my mom and saying, "Hey, I know how to program. I've been doing this, but I've never professionally done it. Should I tell Rickey?" And she was like, Don't be silly, man. Go tell him." So the next day I went back. I said, "Hey, Rickey, I know how to program." And he looked at me. He said, "Okay, cool. The 2 songs here for you to program." Next day I came back with a CDR, because back in the days it was CDRs.
For sure.
Played it for him, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, man, this is crazy. Let's go." So then he started calling me in, right? He started, "I need the theme song for this. I need a commercial. I need for this award show this. I'm doing Miley Cyrus's tour. I need you to program the tour." So that's how I started getting my foot into the whole thing. It was through that.
Did he give you your first musical director gig, like with the title?
He didn't, but it was through him. He opened so many doors for me. That is my mentor to this man. That guy has not only opened so many doors for me, but for a whole generation of people, man.
Absolutely.
And especially for the minorities and people who have been, whatever, but that guy is everything. He is literally everything to me. He's always been a believer of what I do in my work, and has always pushed me forward.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
What was the first MD gig that you had?
KIDZ Bop.
KIDZ Bop. That's great.
Yes.
Was there a live band on the tour?
No live band. So I was basically getting their tracks and being like, "Man, how can I fix this? How can I make it better? How can I make it better?" So it doesn't sound just like a karaoke something, and I'm always going to put 100% of everything that I do into it and doing that. And that's during that gig is when I met my manager, and then that's when everything started opening up.
Did you make the conscious decision of I don't want to tour anymore?
Once the Tonight Show happened,
Yeah.
there was no reason for me to tour.
Sure.
You know,
And then the work just kept going.
and then the work just, thank God, just flowed that
and
way.
Ricky's one of those guys that has too much work.
A lot of work.
Yeah, so he's handing.
You know,
off.
and
Yeah.
well, I'm sorry. We finished the Tonight Show, and I did go on tour with Usher. That was the last tour I did
With Natural and Aaron.
with Natural and Aaron and
Oh,
everybody.
that's
I did.
awesome.
We did. What was it? Your Ex tour. That was the last tour I did. Yeah, and that's how, you know, a lot of, I mean, the Natural and I, we knew each other from school, but that's when, you know, the brotherhood became huge.
From Berklee?
From Berklee.
No
yeah.
way.
He's there before me, but you know, it's one of those things like when you're at Berklee, you look up to people who have left, and I had a few interactions with him, you know, and then we ended up doing Usher, and we did that tour, which later on in life was crazy because I became Usher's music director, which was a complete 180 of being just this horn player to becoming his actual MD, you know, and putting the shows together for him. But that was the last tour I did, and that was because the Tonight Show ended and there was nothing in the horizon. There was absolutely nothing. And that call came through.
You're like, I'll do it. Yeah.
I'll do it. Why not? But that was the last one.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and then when you became Usher's musical director, you were not touring. You set the band out.
I was not touring.
Yeah.
But
Natural still was?
No, he was out of Usher.
Oh, that was when he was out of Usher.
He was out of Usher. And actually, in a way, it was kind of like Usher was looking for. Was
this after Aaron?
After Aaron.
After Aaron.
After
So
Aaron.
Styx?
No, it wasn't after Aaron passed.
Okay.
Aaron was alive.
Right.
It was, I don't know, man, 2018, something like that. And it was Jamal.
Oh, it was Jamal.
Yeah.
Of course.
Aaron's brother playing. Val was still playing bass.
Yeah.
And then Lil Rob was on guitar. Travis Sales was on keys. It was great, man. It was a great experience to be on the other side and working and putting the music together for that artist.
Dude, you just reminded me of something. Wow. I've forgot about this, but I remember when that happened and Aaron called me. Aaron called me because he was like, yo, I went to center staging, and it was like,
yeah, it was crazy.
We're going another direction.
It was a crazy thing.
And he was like shocked.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Yeah.
It wasn't good.
I remember he called me about that and we talked about it.
But it wasn't good, I'll say, because of ultimately love, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you have love with people and things happen and they don't happen in a certain way, people really get hurt.
Yeah.
You know, but the bottom line of it all is love. They are brothers. You know, they spent a lot of time together, and it just went down in a crazy way. But it was love.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's like, not like, you know, Aaron will always have the biggest opportunities.
Yeah, you know, it was all good.
And he still has like, I mean, like Aaron passing was like the biggest, still is the biggest hole in the universe, man.
Man, that hurts, man. It hurts to think about it. You know, he was such a special guy, man.
Yeah, man.
He was such a special human, first off. You know, that's how I always look at it. You know, music is a byproduct of humanity, and he was an incredible human.
Yeah.
Incredible human. Yeah.
Shout out to Aaron Spears and the Spears family.
Speezy forever.
Man. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. So when you started doing TV, how has it changed from like, you know, Tonight Show, and that's like the gig of gigs.
Right.
Compared to like, you know, what today's TV gigs are like? Like, is the pay the same? Is it better? Is it worse?
Man, we're in a funny moment. I don't know if funny is the right word. I feel like we're in limbo. We're seeing everything change in front of us, you know, from network TV to streaming, and what that's going to be. We still don't know what that's going to be and how it's going to work. And because of that, you know, the money that used to be inside of network TV is not the same money.
Yeah.
And it affects in many different ways. And I want to say majority of TV shows nowadays, they don't have live bands because of cost of it.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of it has become pre-recorded tracks, you know, which has its own merit.
Right.
But, you know, that's inside of the music world, which is what I like to stay in, that's one of the biggest difference that I've seen.
Right.
You know, it's going from that live band to pre-recorded stuff, or even just into the DJ, which like this year was the first year for the Golden Globes that they had music for. I mean, Jeff, I know he was the music director. He posted on the internet for 32 years, and it was the first year that they went with a DJ.
Wow, I didn't realize they did the DJ.
And it wasn't even pre-recorded because Jeff had been pre-recording for years in the studio, but it was literally DJ. Ladies and gentlemen, Glenn Close. Boom, bam, boom, bam. And she's walking, boom, boom, boom. It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
What do I want to do, man? I want to make music. I want to make music.
Where's your solo music, bro?
My solo music, man, music, it's what I said before. It's so much more than just entertainment. And, I mean, obviously I have kids and bills to pay, and it's a form of providing, that's one of the things that music can do. But, I've said this example before, and I'll always use it. My grandma's 94 years old. She's not doing well.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
She is hurting, but she has to play her piano. My father is 7 years old, and he's still gigging every single day. And if you talk to him, he says, man, I just want to be on the top of a mountain by myself playing my saxophone,
With his sax.
So music is beyond, that relationship and devotion to music will always be there for me, and will not be there for me. I will be there for it because it's something that you got to give, and I believe that if you give it to music, music gives it back to you.
Absolutely.
That's it.
So, man, so you were born 1983.
1983.
In Brazil.
Rio de Janeiro.
Rio de Janeiro.
Yes, sir.
Man, okay, so tell me, I haven't spent enough time down there. We need to go to Brazil together.
Let's go.
First of all.
Let's
and
go.
We need to do, by the way, we were talking about this earlier too, to all the Jam Card and Jam Jam fans in Brazil.
Let's go, guys.
And the people doing their own kind of jam jams, like, yo, much love, keep it up. We love to see it. It's so cool. We got to do an official jam jam together,
Let's do it,
bro.
Let's do it. I'm down.
Brazil, let's
I'm
go.
Down.
Tell me about Brazil and the music scene and what it means to you and how it shaped you.
Man, I grew up, once again, inside of a crazy family household, so I was, with my dad, we were going to school, and he would play solos of different saxophone players, and it was my sister and I in the back, and he'd be like, who's playing, guys? Who's playing?
Testing,
so there was that whole jazz background that happened. My grandma was a doctorate teacher, concerto pianist. My grandpa was a conductor and viola player. So then I had that classical side of things as well happening. My aunt was the oboist of the National Symphony, so she would give us tickets to go see all of these different, ballets and stuff. So that was huge. I used to love ballet, and then my mom, she was the one who was more grounded into the Brazilian music thing, and she was the one who really brought that to me. The MPB is what we call Música Popular Brasileira, which is like the popular Brazilian music, which is Caetano Veloso and Gilberto Gil and all that stuff. But my dad was also a side musician. First memory as a human being that I have in life is being backstage looking at my dad playing a solo with this blue light coming down on him, and he was part of the rock era of Brazilian music in Brazil. He was part of a lot of these popular artists. I was going to recording sessions with him, and he had his own horn section that did a whole bunch of stuff too, and I would sit next to them and watch them play, and they're probably the greatest hands down. Them and Jerry Hay. I mean, I'll take my pops because my pops is my pops, but between them, there's nobody who does it better than them.
Wow.
And I got to grow up and see that next to me and all of that. So it was very rich, man. It was a very rich upbringing of music and all kinds of music, from, all the influence that my dad had with jazz and American music, and like showing me Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson, MC Hammer, like going through that stuff, and then going through the classical stuff with my grandparents and all the Brazilian stuff that was actually happening in Brazil, and my dad's career involved in the Brazilian music. So it was a lot of stuff happening in the house. So much so that, back to the beginning of our conversation, I thought all of this was normal.
That's just how you grow up.
That's just how you grow up. You arrange, you compose, you play with all these different people, you do things,
Wow.
Yeah.
What does your dad think about what you're doing now, man?
Man, if he was here, both of us would be crying.
Oh,
That's the most special thing that we have between him and I, man. Music all the time.
So
Music.
beautiful.
It's incredible.
So
it's
beautiful.
Absolutely incredible.
because you're junior him, man.
I tell him, I'm 2.0.
Yeah, 2.0. I very much am the 2.0 of my dad too. Man.
You know what it is.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
bro.
man,
Absolutely.
it's beautiful, man. It's a great thing.
Wow. And then,
Yeah.
so your dad gets to America by signing a record deal, right?
He signed with Verve.
sick
Yeah.
as a solo artist.
As a solo artist.
And that brought the family to the States?
Brought us to the States, gave us
How
a green
old were you?
card. I was 13, 14.
13, man.
Yeah, 13.
So yeah, up until 13, you're in Brazil,
I'm in Brazil
living
doing my
what you
thing.
think is everyone's life.
My gosh. Yeah, and then come to the United States.
Where did you come to?
We came to New York.
Wow.
New York first.
Oh, confirmed, yeah.
Yeah, and then he was doing the Verve thing, and then we were in New York for maybe like a month or two, and they told us, look, New Jersey has a better school system, maybe go to Jersey, and we went to Short Hills, New Jersey. At the same time, my parents got divorced, and you know, it was a little bit of darkness.
Yeah.
It was maybe the only time in my life that music became secondary. You know, not only because of that, but it was, you know, it was a new culture, new language. You're a teenager in high school.
You didn't speak English before that?
Didn't speak, you know, so now you're trying to prove yourself and all of that stuff, and I'm pissed off that, you know, so it was like a drug, sex, and rock and roll type of thing, you know, and rebellion, but music always very present, but not the forefront of everything, you know. It was still the talented kid in school. It was still the kid. I was the director of the band at 15 years old, you know. It was, all of that was still happening, but it was more about being it was the only time I partied in my life. It was the only time that I was actually social. Now I'm just a hermit who stays at the house all the time. I'm uncomfortable talking here, but back then I was a very social guy, trying to, as you know, it's part of the teenage life. You know, and that's what it was. Then I got a scholarship to go to Berklee when I was 16.
16.
Yeah. So I talked to the guidance counselor at the time, and she said, you have enough credits to graduate. So I skipped a grade.
Sick.
And my sister and I, we graduated together. She went to University of Chicago. I went to Berklee. My dad had already gone back to Brazil, and then my mom eventually went back to Brazil as well.
Okay, so you were with your mom at that moment.
She stayed.
Your
Yeah,
dad,
she
so
stayed
your
with
dad
us.
was only in LA or in the States for a couple of years.
I mean, he was back and forth. You know, his gigs were in Brazil.
Yeah.
You know,
Kept
I
going
mean,
back for
it
the
wasn't
gigs,
the thing. It wasn't for him over here.
yeah.
You know, he tried. He did the Verve thing, but it wasn't for him.
Yeah.
And he had so much career in Brazil. He had so many jobs and opportunities over there, and seldom couple of things here that might as well be there.
For sure.
You know, so he just went back, you know, and then mom went back once we went to college.
And then so you get the ticket to Berklee.
I got the ticket to go to Berklee, man.
Who were your homies? Who was in your class at that? Who was at Berklee at that time?
Man, it was a bunch of us, man. I don't know. There's so many people. Christian Scott was a guy. I mean, Ray was with me the whole time. Luqueas was there. Walter Smith was there at that time. It was a lot of people, man.
So the horns started at Berklee.
I met Ray at Berklee. We were at a basement party somewhere, and the light went out. And once the lights go out, who can play? The horns can play and the drums can play. So
yes.
At the time, Ray actually didn't have an instrument with him. So the drummer kept playing, I kept playing, and we were kind of vibing. And Ray was just standing in front of me, and he was kind of this intimidating guy type of thing, you know. And once the lights came back, he got the microphone and he put it on, you know, my horn, and he was like, play, and he's screaming at me. And I was like, I don't know if this dude's going to beat me up, you know, but the party was done. Jeriel, who's the drummer, who's now big in the music industry as well, but he went to he works in the Grammy Foundation. You know, proud of him too. But he came up to me and he said, hey man, I'm trying to put a band together. You know, would you like to be part of it? I said, sure. So then that's how I met Ray, and that's how we started our horn section.
And then what got you gigs?
In Boston?
Just as the horns, we're
in Boston, so anything becomes a gig, right?
But like a gig, what was the first gig?
Playing at bars over there, you
Right.
know. We had our band called Spontaneous, you know.
Spontaneous.
And it's funny, Jeff Gittleman, I don't know if you know him.
Love Giddy.
He was in the band with us.
Oh no
He
way.
was the guitar player.
What?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
And
Gittleman.
you guys are both immigrant kids,
moving
to America and learning English.
Giddy and I might be cousins. We still don't know. He is Gittleman. I am Gandelman, and both of our families come from the same area, part of the world. Like there is a big chance that we are cousins in some kind of way. But he even knew my dad's music before we met, because he was into Brazilian music, and he found out about the saxophone player Brazilian guy. And my dad was at an airport somewhere that he was there with his parents, and he approached my dad saying, you know, I think his parents said, hey, my son likes your music, this and that.
Wow.
Later in life, we meet at Berklee and we had a band together.
That's beautiful,
Yeah,
dude.
it was great.
That's
It
beautiful.
was great. It was great. So then Ray graduates Berklee. You know, he's a year older than me. He came to California. I finished school. I went to New York. The dream of being the next John Coltrane type of thing,
Walking the streets of
And New York
Greenwich
was
Village and
whooping my ass. New York was whooping.
Yeah.
It was taking me down, man. It was probably, some of the mental health issues and depression and that kind of stuff,
it
but
was just tough, and you were alone.
it was
and the weather
tough.
sucked.
The
so
weather sucked,
Yeah.
Berklee,
you're used to
man,
Rio.
and
Yeah.
and it was a lot of also like Berklee, especially back then, man, towards the end, I was the scholarship kid. I was with the scholarship band. It was me, Christian Scott, and all these other guys representing the band. And, it was at a time where people would leave their house to listen to solos and transcribe. And, you're at Berklee, you play the sharp 11 of the dominant chord. People are going crazy. You just played the sharp 11. And then you get to the real world. None of that matters.
Yeah.
None of that stuff matters. It doesn't matter how well you play, to try to get a gig. And then you get the gig, it plays $150 and you have to carry all your equipment through this crazy snow. Your hands are freezing. I was like, how? I remember asking the local guys, like, how do you guys? And they were like, man, this is all we know. So I was like, man, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And then eventually Ray was here in California. He had a horn section that he put together. He said, hey, the saxophone player, he's having a baby. Would you like to come out and do the gig with us? I was not doing well in New York. I packed my bags, boom, came over here.
Nice.
Ray picks me up at LAX and he's like, hey, man, I just want to tell you don't have the gig. It's kind of an audition. I was like, Ray, man, I just packed up my whole entire life.
Just moved from New York.
But it was.
But you wanted to.
I wanted to, anyways, and I think he believed in the camaraderie that we had because we literally drove straight to center staging. And at the time, it was Rob Lewis with the Movement Orchestra, and it was Brian Fraser, and it was Ethan Farmer,
wow.
and Kevin Randolph playing keys.
Wow, man.
And it was a tour for Eric Benet, Agape playing guitar. And man, literally within 15, 20 minutes, Rob turned around and said, welcome to the family. I'm tearing up. I'm like, man, let's go.
Bro, I can't believe you went straight from the airport to that group of people.
Yeah, man.
That's wild.
And it was insane to be around them. I lived 30-something years touring the world with all these different artists that own one connected to the other, with those guys, who were incredible people, incredible musicians, and being part of the Movement Orchestra. And it was a thing that we did for a long time.
And those were all Rob Lewis's gigs. He was the MD.
He was the MD at the time. He was the MD at the time.
And you guys were the unit. That's crazy,
that
man.
was the unit.
What a squad.
It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And when we were touring with Christina Aguilera is where I met my wife. She was a dancer.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And we are one of the few successful stories of musicians. Still married, man. Still married.
And she seems awesome, especially, she's popped up a bunch in this pod and everything. Sounds like she knows what's up, too.
She's my everything, man. She's my sunshine.
Man, bless you guys. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Bro.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And then during that is when we were, the movement was doing all this stuff and Christina. So we were like the hot kids in town. And that's when we met Rickey Minor. And that's when Rickey was like, yo, I like those horns, man. And he started calling us to do things. And we became part of, American Idol and all the early days of American Idol and going into the studio Capitol to record and all that kind of stuff. And then eventually Jonas Brothers came through Rickey.
Okay,
he was
nice.
the one that put us in that gig, which we were the first hired musicians from the Jonas Brothers. They never hired anybody. Everybody was just like a high school friend or something. Yeah. Then we traveled the world in Jimmy Buffett's airplane.
And you're like you're like 25, 26.
22, 23. Crazy,
God,
man.
bro.
Crazy. No, maybe 25. Yeah, 2008, I'm 25. Yeah, I'm 25
That's
years
insane,
old. 27, we go to the Tonight Show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Insane, man. Insane.
Well, dude, I'm so happy for you.
Thank you, brother.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
This is like you're living your destiny, bro. You're just living exactly how you should be, man.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. I just absolutely feel butt naked that I told you all of these stories and shared. And there was a meme that I saw the other day of this cat looking crazy, and it says, "When you feel the love and you overshare."
No, this isn't not at all, bro. Thank you so much for sharing with us. And
of course.
Oh man, and you don't seem shy or nervous or anything at all. You
Man.
seem like just like Mika, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you're fucking doing it,
It's
dude.
just music, man.
This is the
It's
best.
music.
Okay, final question, because
Yes,
I know
sir.
you're really close with your pops.
Yeah.
What's the greatest lesson your father ever taught you?
I want to say what I've said up twice, and I'll say it again: is the music, the love and devotion of music,
Mm.
and how serious that is. Because I feel like even more so in the era of social media, in the era of media, in the era of there's a lot of glory involved. There used to be more of a mystery before, but
Yeah.
now there's a lot of glory to be, posting and followers, and just that word itself, followers, it's insane, and the what I've learned from him and through my family is music. What I've said it and I'll say it again: music's more than entertainment, and it's the love and devotion for it. And if you love music that much, music will love you back.
Yes, man.
Hopefully.
I think the love is hitting you, man. Yeah.
That's it.
Yes, dude. The game is rewarding you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Man. Thank you.
Well, dude, thanks for coming and hanging out.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Come
for
on,
calling
make a
me.
ton of noise. Migo! I'm going to try to do a Bad Bunny style. Migo! Hey.
Go with Elmo. 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 This is the stuff, man.